Good morning, all. Medical Rising. I hope you slept well. I slept well. Oh, I had some dreams last night. I had some dreams. Oh my gosh. I was drinking some water. I think it was like, I don't know, 2:22. It was somewhere around there. I'll always be waking up at angel number times. But anyways, it came to my thought in that immediate second was like, the whole government's going to have to fall. And I dropped the water. I did. Not even knowingly. Obviously, I didn't intentionally drop it, but I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Here we blow. Saddle up, Amanda. This is where things get real interesting. This right here. This is what God's been training me for. People wanted to question it. People wanted to do the most, but it is what it is. I don't know what else to say to that. I don't know. You guys created your bed. I created my bed. So I guess we both have to lie in it. That is the saying, they say. You know, nothing like laying in a manufactured bed, too. I know there's a lot of people laying in some manufactured beds. I bet that's a B. I bet that's a B. I'm glad not to be you. That said, I felt compelled to talk about pawns. Pawns. You see, most people think about pawns, like pawn shops. No, there's a bigger meaning to pawns. My videos are getting like 0, 1, 2 views. I love it. That's when I know I'm starting to hit what I need to hit. Go Max, right? This one's for Charlie. Erica, baby girl. Handler at her finest. Eek. Let me tell you something. The next man, my husband in the future, God's already shown me the way to that. And if my man went through an assassination like that, first of all, being on a podcast tour, I wouldn't even be able to hold myself together. I wouldn't even be able to talk. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I don't know. People respond to grief in different ways, but questionable. Definitely questionable. Anywho, we're not going to spend time on that. I think the whole world knows about that. That said, pawns. People use people for pawns. I know something about that. I was used as a pawn for many years working for that company. I can't tell you how many times I had to take the lickings for things that weren't true. Send out texts that weren't true because I was told to do it. Being his flying monkey, you know, those bends. They'd be weird. They like to make everybody else carry out their dirty deeds to keep their hands clean. That's how they operate. And I see a lot of people be doing that. A lot of people be doing that. And every job that I've worked at since that said company does the same thing. Same thing. When people use pawns, the tactics behind the indirect attacks. When someone doesn't want to get their own hands dirty or wants to maintain a plausible deniability, they recruit others to carry out their agenda. And there's been a lot of recruiting. He's good at recruiting. Narcissistic abuse, workplace retaliation, church, group, and politics, family triangulation. That's where you went wrong, brother. You got my son involved. That's where you went real wrong. That was a bad idea for you. Social smear campaigns. This is my favorite right here. Triangulation. The person in power pulls third parties into their conflict to do their dirty work. There's been a lot of third parties pulled into my testimony, this extravaganza, into this Truman Show, pulled into play third parties to do their dirty work. That's what y'all are doing, just so you know. Send messages through others. Spread rumors through intermediaries. I don't think I said that right. Have someone else deliver the insult, threat, or misinformation. Yeah. Like his wife came in, Captain Save-A-Ho. Keep their hands clean while stirring chaos between others. My ex has been pulled into a third party. I know that's right. Ain't nobody can tell me otherwise. Flying monkeys, these are my favorite. A lot of flying monkeys in my community. Not all of them. And I know many of them are waking up to it. I know that. I know that. Borrowed from psychology and domestic abuse vocabulary, this is when someone's loyal followers to enforce their agenda. Like all the Trump, the MAGA, they're loyal followers, but really you're flying monkeys at this point. Watch you, report you, provoke you, push false narratives, intimidate, act like they're just concerned. Oh, we're just concerned. Give the illusion that many people agree with the attacker, creating pressure and isolation. Please agree with them. I'm here for it. Plausible deniability. The real orchestrator stays quiet. He's been quiet this whole time. Been very quiet. Not said anything to me, not to person. That's for darn sure. Not in the law. I mean, and his dad's an attorney. They have an law office. So I'm pretty sure they're really well known on the format of the law. So why hasn't this, just asking for a friend? I have all these different forms, all these different filings that have been filed on my behalf, forged signatures, but nothing's made its way to me. In reference to the mail, all this stuff. Oh, I know it's all intertangled. It's all so convoluted. It's so convoluted. I didn't know they acted on their own. I never told them to do that. That's why he has people do that. Keep his hands clean. Social framing. The ops. The orchestrators. My little ops out there. Set up storylines behind the scenes so their pawns believe them. Protecting someone, addressing a problem, stopping a threat, correcting the misunderstanding, make the pawn feel righteous so they act aggressively without questioning their motive. Exactly. Yeah. It's a different form of manipulation. It really is. Golly, I have so much PTSD from working out of that company, but I give grace to that because I learned so much in reference to how these people operate. And it's not just them. There's a lot of them in this world. And so because I worked with them for so long, I pick up on so many different things. And it's created this training that I just know. I have an inner knowing of. So many people want to take a walk in my shoes, but they're not ready to hold the line because they had no idea what I've been through. Now they're getting a slice of it. Emotional proxies. This is to send someone who is emotional, more reactive, easier to manipulate, use someone else's emotions as a weapon so they can orchestrate, stays emotionally safe. Testing boundaries through others, test your reaction, see how much you know, gauge your strength. That's why I had to be very, very, that's when my intuition and my discernment really came up on the fly these last 6 months, is really learning how to hone in on my discernment, my intuition, my inner knowing, knowing when to speak, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to observe, knowing when to document. And this is the training camp that I'm in right now. Psychological distance. They avoid direct communication entirely, so any backlash lands on the pawn, not them. That's why it's been like crickets. Message relayed through coworkers. Yeah, I can't tell you how many of my previous coworkers have reached out to me in the last 2.5 years. How many owners, like I just had an owner reach out to me like a week ago. I mean, we're going on almost 3 years. Well, October next year will be 3 years, and I still have owners reaching out to me. Reputation warfare. Question your credibility, misinterpret your actions, create doubt about your character, socially isolate you. Yeah. Check. Energy drain strategy. They thought they'd drain my energy, but they didn't know I got an abundance of energy. Defend yourself repeatedly. And see, that's where I stopped. I'm like, I have nothing to defend myself from, first of all. I walk in justice. I walk in truth. So once I stopped doing that, and I really never defended myself. I just didn't understand what I was going through. And now I understand what I'm going through. You know what I mean? Now I see the big picture. God showed it to me. Stay in defensive mode. This is, let's see here, accountability. I never told them to do that. I can't control what they do. Don't bring me into it. That's where all these NDAs, everybody got their payouts. Golly, stay grounded. Don't respond emotionally. That's a trap. If you respond emotionally, it's just a trap. But you need to be aware of people's emotions. I'm very aware of people's emotions, and I don't play on people's emotions.